Well, it's perfectly obvious that the two of you have written books from completely opposite points of view.
Well, I mean, yes and no. And I think there's some agreement that shaming is intensely powerful, really works, and some people, I guess, deserve to be shamed. I mean, if a Daily Mail columnist writes some, racist or homophobic column, social media can attack them with a weapon that they don't quite understand, social media shaming.
We could call that sort of shaming in the public space of public figures.
Right. And the problem, though, is that we fell too in love with it. We started shaming... we went from shaming people who were misusing their privilege to shaming pretty much anyone who was just perceived to have sort of misused something like privilege. So it meant we started tearing apart people, regular people just like us, who told a joke that landed badly.
Well, do you defend shaming ordinary people who just mess up?
Well, if those ordinary people are like Willie Soon, this Harvard-related scientist who took a bunch of climate-related money to be a formal climate denialist, yeah, I do support it. But I think that Jon's issue, which I completely share, is that the online environment makes it really easy for shaming to become disproportionate. And the punishment far outweighs the crime in a lot of these cases.
The thing is, we're living in these sort of cognitive dissonant times where basically we don't want to see the people who we destroyed. The snowflake doesn't want to feel responsible for the avalanche. So what I wanted to do with my book is to say, look, here are the people we destroyed. Look at how traumatized they are. Look at how they didn't leave home for a year and a half.
Yeah, but you had to work at it to find them.
Oh my God, yeah, they didn't want to talk to me. Because I was asking people to relive the most traumatic moments of their lives.
But they are surely the minority who just don't prove the rule.
Well, I mean, some of the people in my book are people who had kind of, epic, super shamings. But, little shamings go on all the time.
I look at Justine Sacco's life. And going to Africa, I hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding, I'm white. That's a disgusting thing to say, and she deserved to be shamed for saying that.
Well, you know what?
Didn't she?
Well, the premise of my book is just about not getting distracted and using our attention and shaming for issues like this, even if you find it disgusting. I think it's better to focus on, let's say, a climate denialist in the US Congress who's really undermining things for society, rather than someone who does make an offhand remark, which we all experience day to day, all the time.
So you think the real beauty of shaming is shaming public figures who frankly don't come up to snuff?
I think it's shaming anything, institutions, corporations, individuals, that affect all of us.
There's a very big difference between gleefully flaunting your privilege and making a joke about people who gleefully flaunt their privilege. Justine Sacco was trying to make a joke about how in America people live in a bubble and so on. It was like a bad episode of South Park. So no, she didn't deserve her shaming, and she certainly didn't deserve the brutality of it, that it all happened when she was oblivious on the plane and not allowed to engage, not allowed to explain what she was trying to say.
Should it be regulated? Can't be regulated. What can be done about it? Can it? Can it? How?
Yeah, I mean, one way, it's already happened, is that the online environment is changing so substantially. So the anonymous section of the internet is already being privatized. You have to have a real identity, and some sites to even leave a comment now. So I think a lot of these issues actually are changing by the system itself, not so much by internal regulation.
But there's a problem with regulation, which is that all the regulators are only interested in trolls, in this kind of extreme, outrageous minority. If we focus all our attention on trolls, the people who were letting off the hook is us. We're the people who, hundreds of thousands of us, willfully misunderstood Justine Sacco's, ill-advised joke and thought it was somebody making this kind of outrageous, disgusting comment.
But she also misjudged the internet itself. As it's not your friends and family that you're talking to on Twitter. It's a wide open, searchable, open platform that anyone can read.
Have you ever been shamed?
In real life, yes, but
no,
I've escaped it
on the system.
Well, I'm not very active online, and I am like you. I think at least 10 seconds before posting something.
Have you ever been shamed?
Yeah, I was shamed the other week. My book was extracted in the New York Times, and even though I think I prove beyond any doubt that Justine Sacco's tweet wasn't intended to be racist, after like 90% of the people, loved the piece and understood it, I got kind of flamed by a few hundred people who were basically, what racist is Jon Ronson going to put his cape on for next? And I didn't respond to any of them, but the one that really made me laugh was somebody said, why isn't Jon Ronson responding to any of us? And somebody wrote, Jon Ronson only responds to men. and at that... At that point, honestly, I wanted to say to them, honestly, I am sexless. I'm like a eunuch from Game of Thrones. But
don't mention that.
No, but I didn't.
You know nothing,
right? But I didn't. Oh yeah, Jon Snow. You know. But I didn't say anything, and I realised in that moment that all I was a blank canvas for people to put their ideology onto, and that's why when you've had a proper shaming, the terrible, counterintuitive thing to do is to stay absolutely silent, and how awful it is that we've created this social media system for ourselves where the only way to survive is to either be bland or silent.